From Wichita Falls to Paris, from Atoka, Oklahoma to the Dallas area, Texoma has a thriving music scene. Revolving around country rock and blues, the singer-songwriters of the Texoma area reach into the outlying geographic enclaves here and there around the country. It's a scene of music that is defined more by geography than it is a sound and encompasses all the facets of the music scene on either side of the border. Denison, Texas is the hub of this music region, and it's music-friendly in so many ways. Long-standing tradition and musical families spanning generations are the hallmark of this area. Denison is also one of the first 20 cities in the state of Texas to be designated a music-friendly city by the state. My name is Ann House, and I'm a singer here in the Texoma area. We're live casting from beautiful downtown Denison at the Podcast on Main studio. This is Open Mic with Ann House. What is it about this area?
Trauma.
Trauma. Okay. That's you want to let's go with that.
Well, I mean, if you want to really break it down, I would imagine a lot of it has to do with the MKT Railroad, which is probably where they shipped in and out a lot of alcoholic beverages.
Among other things.
And it just stuck. And all of our dads are alcoholics. We got the shit beat out of us, and they sang songs about it. And some of us were smart enough to go to school for it. Not me.
I don't know, Brad. How does that track?
Well, I don't actually know who my dad is, so.
Oh, well, see, now that could be a problem.
Is that trauma? I don't know. I feel pretty okay about it.
I think we need to talk about it.
My father,
How does that make you feel?
My father and
okay.
my grandfather were musicians in this area. My grandfather used to, which was Floyd House Sr., used to talk about hawking his guitar over at the Roach Pond in the 40s and 50s to raise money to enter poker games over in Cartwright or Colbert, where they were kind of back in the back room and and stuff like that. He was a real, in the early days, him and some of my other relatives were real honky-tonkers.
Wasn't poker a huge deal here?
Yeah, especially across the river, because Denison was dry. So you had dry all the way up to Melissa, and then you had alcohol, and then you'd have it dry all the way to Dallas.
So we had rum runners.
Yeah, so you had...
Oh, yes.
So
this area is rife with it.
The only place to get alcohol for a long time was to go across the river.
Wow.
So that's why there's that big strip that used to be there.
I'm not saying I was right. I'm just saying. No, man.
You may very well be. The history of this area, because of that railroad and because of the crossing between between Oklahoma and Texas, across the Red River.
Yes, ma'am.
Preston Road, as it goes all the way down from Dallas, and then some, right straight up to...
Pottsboro.
Yeah, right straight up into Pottsboro. And at one point, there was a Preston Road area. He kept trying to make a city, but it never stuck. Mm-hmm. Right there by the river.
Yeah.
And
well, actually, where the lake is.
Yeah.
He was in that area.
Well, where it is now.
Is that before they flooded the lake?
Yes, that's before they flooded the lake. So just so those of you who've never been in this area know, we have Denison Dam, and we have Lake Texoma. Now, Lake Texoma is a man-made lake done by the Corps of Engineers many, many years ago, World War II.
1940s.
1942.
Yeah, 1940s. And at the time, there were crossings across the area. Carpenter's Bluff is one. There are a few others. Preston was another
Cartwright Ferry.
And the Cartwright Ferry. But when they flooded that, they created a dam, of course, as they do, which we now can drive across and go straight into Cartwright, Oklahoma, which kind of leads, there's this great big stretch between Cartwright and 75, or Colbert, Oklahoma, that was part of the highway system at one point, which had, as it does now still, strip joints, bars, honky-tonks.
Keep talking.
The whole thing. And I think that's probably where part of the music history for this area comes from. But most people in this area, they know it, but it's an internalized knowledge. It's kind of like institutional knowledge. It's something,
exactly.
Right. It is something that people kind of know. They know in the back of their heads, but they don't really talk about very much because it's, something that happened that families lived through.
Yeah, like my grandfather, my father's grandfather, Jesse.
Mm-hmm.
When I tell stories about, he worked on the dam. That's why he came here, was to work on
Wow.
the dam.
And
Yeah,
didn't they have prisoners of war?
They did.
Yeah.
Over here?
They did. A lot of them were German prisoners of war.
Right. There's quite a few Germans that are stuck in that wall right now.
And I'm sure that there are German families, with German descent in this area too, for
Right.
that very reason.
Yeah.
But I know that that's probably not what prompted you to start delving into music, dabbling.
No,
into
Nazis
music.
have absolutely nothing to do with my piano playing abilities. Although I have written some songs about them.
Oh,
I'm not a big fan. I don't know about y'all.
I can only see how
we
far.
might disagree. Yeah, I'm not judging you.
Thoroughly against.
I know, right? Matt Blackshear is a comedian, a musician, a songwriter,
Thanks.
and a very good one at
Because
that.
I wouldn't stop that. It's hard to call myself a songwriter when I just steal a
Please.
bunch of shit that John Mayer did and
Secret.
then my own words.
That makes you a good songwriter.
Yeah. Well, secretly, I also think he's one of the actors in the Ewok costumes.
I am.
You're so funny.
He's on
I've
to
never
me.
seen Star Wars, but I know what that is because of this joke.
Oh man,
No, I was
The other fuzzy creature.
I was
the other fuzzy creature. I know, right?
I was the hanging munchkin on the set of Wizard of Oz.
Oh no.
I do have to say this is rather refreshing because I'm usually on the short end of these jokes.
Don't get short with me, Bubba.
Oh no.
I don't know how else to be.
I have a short fuse.
So what did prompt you to start?
Oh, who knows, man? I mean, mostly like,
I know some of the songs
How do
that
I-
you've written, but I don't know, and I know why you've written some of them.
I
But
mean,
I don't
like,
know kind of what started it.
when I was like 13, I think, because I played piano since I was 4, because I'm just a nerd. Like it's DNA, right? You have no idea where it comes from. It's just you find something that you absolutely love and you go with it.
Yes.
Football wasn't going to be that.
Yes, no.
Nope. And
Nope,
so
nope.
I'm not going to be out here breaking anybody's ankles, so I'm going to break hearts instead.
Okay,
But I couldn't break hearts either, so I just started. I had to start writing music.
right.
But at first it was comedic music. And so every time that I would go to a party, this is the nerdiest thing ever, but I was like really, really popular in high school.
Yeah?
That's not the nerdy part. The nerdy
Nope.
part is when I went to high school, it was cool to bring a Casio in the back of the pickup, right? So I would put a bunch of D batteries in a Casio keyboard, put it in
Yeah.
the back of my truck, go out to a bonfire, and then just start writing songs about every girl out there at the bonfire. And then that shit worked. And
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
and then
What girl
after
doesn't
a
want to
while-
have a song written about them?
Right, exactly. Like if you look like me, you better have a damn song in your pocket.
Oh, no.
So-
Okay, just so you guys know, Matt is vertically challenged.
No, hey, that's the reason why we're audio. We're not a lot of lookers. Ann's probably the best looking one in here.
You're
It's
so
gorgeous.
sweet.
And so I guess I don't know. Like that's something to unpack on like why, but eventually, and I'm sure that you write songs, right?
Music.
Not really. I have, but I don't. That's not
Yeah.
really
Rap
my-
music.
No, wait a
Okay.
minute. I have, but I don't.
I don't regularly.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
The last song I
Now,
wrote
okay,
was
now
like
that I'll
12
take
years
that.
ago.
I'll take that qualifier there. I don't.
'Cause I would
regularly.
imagine like all songwriting starts from a place like when it becomes real, it does start from a place of like some kind of trauma, some kind of like heartbreak, heartache, something like longing for
Yeah.
a void, and it's a void filler maybe. I don't know. That's
The
something to unpack.
last song that I wrote was about, the loss of my pets.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. And Miley's Dead Pets album was one of the greatest albums of
Really?
this last 10 years. It's
I
so
actually
good.
haven't listened to it. I need to go and listen
Oh,
to that.
please, dude. Like, it's beautiful. But I was like, somebody, because I've never had pets, so I was like, somebody can, like, write this stuff that makes
Yeah.
me hurt, and it's about a cat.
Yeah.
Like, I might need to get me a cat.
You might need to get you a cat.
Maybe.
I have a sister-in-law who's got 3 kittens that are up for grabs.
Well, if I run out of songwriting utensils and materials, yeah, then I'm going to go ahead and get me a cat. But
Why did you get a cat? I can see that conversation. Sir, why do you need a cat? Well, I need to write songs.
well, I'm going to tell y'all right now, I've been writing songs about cat for about 20 years.
I should probably qualify that Matt is one of the most profane comedians I have ever heard
Hey,
in
I'm
my
reeling it in, baby.
entire life.
I'm doing it back.
That's because you never heard Red Fox.
Yes,
Oh
I
my
have.
gosh.
I
dude.
have heard Red Fox.
Yes.
Oh, have you ever heard Red Fox? He is a comedian out of the
Sanford and
40s,
Son.
50s, 60s. Yeah. You ever remember Sanford and Son? They had a great big
No.
Go look it up.
So good.
The man is
And then he and Richard Pryor were like really
horribly
close.
profane.
Yeah.
And they were
I
both
recognize one of those
very
names.
bad. And then they ended up hanging out with George Carlin.
Oh, did they?
Oh yeah. And so, can you imagine those three in
Yes,
one room?
I certainly can. I would
that's-
blush, and I was raised by a Marine.
The devil would blush. at
Yeah.
that point.
But that's like, imagine being on the set with, and we're getting far from music, but that's like being on the set with Robin Williams and what was
Jim Belushi?
No, they brought him on the third season. John
Winters?
Winters, yeah.
Yes, can you
I
imagine?
mean,
Oh my
cannot
God.
imagine.
And that Pam, the actress,
Pam
said
Dauber.
she said that going to work was torture because she couldn't get through lines because these guys were just
Well, they got through some lines all right.
Yeah, they did. Only, yeah. Sadly,
little
that's
acting
true.
lines. Yeah.
Sadly, that is
But
true.
music-wise, I agree
I mean,
with Ann.
okay, so
We are just astonished from after doing the open mic show at Red Rock. I mean,
Just the level of talent.
the level of them was coming out was just like amazing.
Yeah, it
and
was
you
wild.
know, to me, it's really, 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 really just. I mean, I get up for open mics or places that I sing, and I think about the other talent that's in this area, and I feel so very humbled. So very humbled
so do I.
because there's just so much of it.
Yeah,
I mean,
and maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's like the humility that you face whenever you think you're good, but then you face off with someone at just like a party or a bar
Right.
around here, and then you take it back home. You're like, oh shit, I better work on my craft.
Yeah, I need to practice every time I go
Every
out.
time I go out,
yeah,
me too.
Like, yeah,
I need to
gotta
step it
do
up
more.
somewhere.
When I
along the
heard
line.
you, because I'm not a great singer, I do, but I'm not like, that's not my go-to. It's not my talent. And I heard Ann, and that was the first time I was like, yeah, I'm just going to give that one up. I've been practicing. But Alex Cantrell is one as well.
He is, he
Alex,
really is.
Alex, who is my brother, and I love him to death, and he is probably the most talented person I've ever met in my life personally.
He really is.
And we grew up together. We've written like 200 songs together.
Oh,
and
wow.
then, and me and him both were not like singers off the bat. And then Alex just sold his soul to the devil one day. No, he worked his ass
Yeah,
off.
you can.
He worked and worked and worked and worked, and he sat in his room forever and ever and ever and would record,
That's
listen
what it
back,
takes.
filter out. Record, listen back, filter out. And that's what
See,
I had to do too.
People go. I was
That's what it takes.
raised by my father that put a guitar in my hand when I was like 2 years old, and I was fairly decent until I hit puberty.
Bluegrass?
Everything.
Everything.
But
Classic country
then I
for
hit
me.
puberty and I wasn't concentrating on the guitar anymore.
It was opposite to me. I didn't learn guitar until I was 22, but for me, playing piano and drums growing up, I was just like, okay, like I loved it, but I wasn't passionate about it at all. And then I became a teenager and everything warped, right? But I was not
teenagers
told
make
to do
everybody
it.
kind of warp a little bit, right?
Right.
You kind of decided to, and I mean, is that kind of when you found your Brad?
Yeah, so I did clarinet for a couple years in school, and
Mm-hmm.
didn't really fall in love with it. But when Guitar Hero 2 came out, I remember had a buddy's cousin that brought it over one night, and when they all went to bed,
Oh my
yes,
gosh.
absolutely, and they all went to bed, and I remember trying my darndest to get "Laid to Rest" by Lamb of God on medium to where I could pass it, and I was like, you
Good
know
luck,
what,
bro.
I want to do this for real.
Yeah.
Oh my
So that
gosh.
was one of the songs, which is crazy, but it was one of the first songs I tried to learn. I didn't do it at first, but it was one of those like, I got to do this song. This is the whole reason I'm playing guitar. And then a couple years later I did, and I was like, well, now what?
I've hung around my whole life with alcoholics and druggies, and I'm going to tell you right now, after all of that, what you just said is still the craziest thing I've ever heard about. I've heard some crazy shit. Are you trying to
It was a
go?
pretty good
You
game.
trying to go off on Lamb of God to start off?
Well, don't get me wrong. Like I said, I didn't make it. I ended up having to tackle easier things like Iron
And you,
Man
but you
and-
still didn't give up after that.
No, absolutely not.
Ain't no
I'm
way.
way too. That's the whole reason I work in music at all
Stubborn.
now. 'Cause I'm way too stubborn to not
See,
do it.
and that's
That's the trait, isn't it?
that is. I really do think that is the trait because. I got thrown in choir. Gosh, I guess I was 5, 6, maybe 7. And because my mom realized I could sing.
Yours is a
I was
gift.
too young. It's a gift. It's also a
But you
matter of
worked on it,
physiology.
right?
But I've spent 45 years training this voice to do what it does now, right? But I got thrown into choir when I was young, and my mom realized I could sing, but the choir teachers didn't. One of the few things I distinctly remember from that is singing. I don't remember what it was that I was singing, but I've got a natural vibrato to my voice that long about the time I was, 8, 9, 10. And they were looking at me like, what the heck is going on there? So, yeah.
It'll rumble your kneecaps. I promise you that.
Thank you. It's...
So how were you whenever you decided that was a career?
50. No, I'm
51.
serious. 51.
You're lying.
I was there.
No, really?
I'm not.
She would just play in choir and stuff. But when I first met her, I'd come over to, that's a whole nother story, but I'd come over to have dinner with her and her children. And she was in the bathroom bathing one of the kids, and she was singing.
Probably Kellen.
And I'm like, I walk back there and I'm like, hey, what radio station you on? I want to.
You really thought for real?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had people do that.
Yeah, I was
Yes.
like, what? She goes, there's no radio in here.
It's so
And
pure.
I'm like, oops.
It's a pure tone. And another thing
If Jesus wore glasses.
I know, right?
Yeah.
There was 3 days that we didn't see him, and then he came back, and we were like, oh. There he is.
I've just been on tour, that's all.
We're fresh out of wine, buddy. You just showed up in
I
time.
just went and hung out with my dad.
Oh, that's horrible.
Just chilling. We killed off the dinosaurs that day.
Yeah, right on. Good.
Ooh, ruling the earth.
Gave us a shot.
All right. So, welcome to Open Mic with Ann House. We have Oliver White. Say hi, Oliver. Yay! Jonathan Van Huss and Tim Rogers. We are recording in the podcast suites called Podcast on Main here in beautiful downtown Denison, which is a historic community. As a matter of fact, our Main Street just made an award. It made a set. There was several of them across the state of Texas that were. People said, "Hey, look, these are great." Denison is also a music-friendly community. Not only is that just a way of life here in this area, it is also a designation by the state of Texas. And so Denison had to go through several different hoops in order to get that designation. This area has some of the most, it's just lousy with music, right? I mean, I know it's a horrible way to say it, but there's so many really great musicians in this area that it's just, it's amazing. I've had people tell me that they've gone other places, for example, Florida for vacation or what have you, and live music is not something that you find every day of the week. Here, it's everywhere. It is every day of the week. Most importantly, though, for the purpose of this conversation, is open mics. Now, my show is called Open Mic because guess what? This is an open mic. But as a musician myself, I didn't know how to get started except with open mics. And I got to tell you, Oliver runs a really great one, and he is just absolutely so very helpful to people who are trying to start out things. But so all of you run open mics. Tim runs 2 of them. Jonathan runs 1. Oliver runs 2, sometimes more.
Yeah.
Maybe you can get your hands on.
Yeah, right
Yeah,
on.
I know, right?
Yeah, whenever I can get out.
The schedule just in this area on Monday night at the Horses Axe down the way is Tim Rogers. On the 2nd and 4th Tuesdays.
Actually, they changed that. That is
did
now every Tuesday.
Oh, they did. Okay,
Right
I was going
on.
to ask. Thank you.
Congratulations.
And the Elks Lodge on 1417 in Sherman every Tuesday. Wednesday, there's 6:30 to 10:30 at Kickback's Backyard with Oliver. There is now Thursday appears to be the day for it,
So
right?
many.
I know, right? So 6:30 to 9:30, the Loft Pizza Pub in Whitewright. On the second and fourth Thursdays, Oliver is joined by Cassandra Hoschert. Also on Thursday is Coyote Club on Myrick Street in Denison. Jonathan Van Huss.
That's right.
The second Thursday at the Milieu Wine Bar on Houston in downtown Sherman. That's hosted by Matt Key. The third Thursday at Neighbor's Place Winery in Bonham, hosted by Cassandra Hoschert. Fridays, beginning in October, there will be one in the Whiskey Tower at Tanglewood. And then first Friday of the month, Cassandra Hoschert hosts one at the VFW in Bonham. Music, live music, every day of the week from some of the most talented musicians that I have heard, bar none, and I've heard quite a few. So why do you do open mic? Yeah, we're going to start with you, Oliver. You knew that was going to happen, right?
Because we need it. I mean, I feel like any community that has a surplus of musicians, and artists in general, needs an open mic or several open mics. I mean, it's a place for us or a place for upcoming musicians or budding musicians, old timers, whatever, for anybody to just come and showcase what you got, work on something new,
You get a lot of
jam with people.
originals versus covers.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a blend of a little bit of everything. A lot of people come up and do only covers. A lot of people come up and do only originals. People mix it all up. It's all good. It's all good. I really like seeing people do original stuff because
it's
that's like fruit, you know.
Right
The
on.
open mics are the trees, and the people doing original stuff, that's the fruit.
Jonathan writes some really great songs.
Thank you.
I like hearing that. I like seeing people at the open mics doing original stuff and people sitting and listening, you know. You'll catch the musicians listening hardest.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is most of the crowd at an open mic.
Yeah, it really
Yep.
is.
It
Yeah,
really is.
But another cool thing is that people come and hang out too,
Right.
and watch and listen. And
The supporters.
Yeah.
Yeah, the background supporters that are just there because I've met a group last night that was sitting at a table at Coyote, and I walked over to them because some of the people they were hanging out with were part of the open mic, but they weren't. And I was like, what made y'all come out? And they said, well, we saw a post on Facebook. And I was like,
Right.
right on. So y'all aren't singing or no? We just wanted to come out and hang
come out
out.
and check it out. That's
Well,
where the
thank you
talent's
for the
at.
support. You know what I mean? That's what it's about. It's growing the audience, and he's exactly right. It's an abundance. The surplus of musicians around, it's an abundance of it. This is a hotbed. North Texas, from Dallas to Denison, Wichita Falls to Texarkana, so much good music around here. Open mics are necessary. It's kind of like tattoos. On Monday night, you get one tattoo, a little later you want another one, then another one, then another. Before you know it, you look like a Yakuza member. You know what I mean? So it's like music is kind of like that. I play Monday nights at his open mic. I go home. You know what I do when I get home?
Play some more.
Play some more, man. And then the more I play, the more I want to play.
Right.
And so with open mic nights, especially having them, so many of them, with the surplus of musicians that we have here, around here, it gives everybody that chance and opportunity to get that out of their system, kind of. Not really get it out of their system, but to get up there and exercise that they've been wanting to get that fix for that addiction, which is music. It is an addiction. We all agree with that, right?
Yeah,
Any
yeah.
musician
And it's the
who
best
says
one
that
you can
music
get
is
into,
addictive is a
man.
Liar.
Yeah, no, seriously, so I came to this late, right? And not realizing how much of an addiction music really was. Thinking about it, because, I've been singing since I was like that tall. So it was, but it just never clicked in my head that performing was an addiction, right?
Yeah.
And it's got to be one of the best ones, to be honest.
Well, we had a conversation
We did.
a long time ago where I said, I'm not a performer. About
You
2-3
say that.
months ago, I started standing up. And since I started standing up,
Yeah.
I'm like, man,
Performer.
I need some platform shoes and some face paint and a 7-inch tongue, and I'm going on tour, baby.
Where can I get a sash?
Here we go.
I need a sash real bad.
Does anybody know how to paint a star on my eye?
Oh yeah.
Maybe Buffalo.
Right? Yeah, right.
Buffalo.
Where is he?
Maybe Buffalo, yeah. So, what does this do for the community, though? I mean, how does this benefit?
Oh, the morale around here. You think about it. There are people. I went to his songwriting circle, and it was maybe 4 of us when I started going.
Yeah, I know. I remember.
By the time it ended, because everybody got so busy with music, by the time it ended, we were looking for other locations because the ones we couldn't hold it. You know what I mean? That's awesome. And these people, you don't know, they didn't know me. I didn't know them. They didn't know this person. They didn't know this person. And all that networking and coming together, just new sounds, new ideas, new friendships, relationships come out of that. That's amazing. You know what I mean? Because that you can't replace relationships. That's what it's all about. So
it sounds like the relationships that you build at something like an open mic are as important, if not more important, than the music that you're playing.
Well, sometimes not only the music as me, I had stage fright, and it took a lot from him and Paul, Noel,
right,
and you and my inner circle of people that kind of got me started going to really get me my confidence up. And so for some people, the addiction might not just be playing your music, but it might be, well, last week I felt terrified when I was on stage. But this week I felt less terrified. And then the next week I feel less terrified. And then this week I feel like I belong up here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to see that growth with people, me and him sitting at the back of Horses Axe last week, watching 5 of the people that started off.
Just belting it out and having
Now
a great
they're
time.
relaxed, kind of ticking to the beat. Got their
Eating the microphone like this.
Yeah,
I
just
know, right?
really attitude.
Instead
got
of
it.
standing like 5 yards away from the microphone.
Progress is so fun to see, man. It is so fun to see.
Open mics are great because it's a way for us to share our power with each other.
Mm-hmm.
We all learn and grow from each other. And the reason why we do it when it really comes down to it is because this is how we got our power. We got it from other
100%.
people's open mics, from jamming with other musicians. And the hosts are the people who realize that that's what makes you really good, is that you can learn bits and pieces from everybody you interact with. You don't really know a musician till you've jammed with them.
Yeah.
Exactly right. You're exactly. Me and Lee, like he threw me off the first couple of times, but now I've settled in with him and he's good. I've learned so much from these 2 guys. Like,
Oh, I know, right?
he's taught me so much about how to set stuff up and how to operate sound and stuff. He's sensei.
Performance.
You know what I mean? He is my
Sensei
sensei.
there.
He has really been there from day one with me on trying to get back into this. So
So
these guys have really propped me up a lot and helped me out.
the first open mic that I went to, that Oliver hosted, was the first open mic I ever went to, was down here at.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
place.
I know, right? It was
Yeah, it's
down.
right down
It
there.
is now closed, but the rail yard was an incubator for small.
Try incubator.
Yeah,
remember
try
that.
incubator
Yeah.
for small businesses, for small restaurants. So Grayson College has a culinary arts program, and a lot of their graduates would come over and start a little small restaurant type business. And
Food truck and a wall.
yeah, food truck on a wall. Very good. That's a great way
Right
to put it.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of having to buy a whole food truck, they had these little spaces. And the first open mic that I ever went to was held in that they had this really great huge hall right next. They had grand piano and everything. And it was small. There was no stage to speak of or anything like that.
Corner.
And
We had a corner.
we had a corner right by the window. And I was scared to death. I have had stage fright, almost crippling stage fright, for probably, 40 years.
Right on.
And it's only been in the last 3 that it only rears its ugly head, once a
When
quarter.
you get into your head.
Yeah, when I get into my head.
It rarely is it anybody else or outward that gets me in there. It's usually I just don't feel it today, and I'm embarrassed by it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what?
I miss real stage fright. I really do.
Bro, I wish I had your moxie, man. I wish I had your moxie.
No drug in this world that can emulate the feeling of that breaking point when you connect with the audience, when you break that first stage fright. Like when I was
They like me.
rookie
They
back
really, really
in
like me.
Right.
Virginia.
Yeah.
My first show I ever played for was on a beach fest, and we like 500 people in front of the stage, and there were like 8 stages.
Wow.
it was nuts. We were an opening act. I was pretty terrible, but I was good enough for what I needed to do. But yeah, no, I missed that feeling of the first 10 seconds of the first song.
I still get it. I still get stage fright
Do you really?
periodically. Yeah,
You've been performing for
man, 30 years.
and you still get stage
Almost
fright
30
on
years.
occasion.
Yeah, but it's not like I can control it now. Like the first time it really got me and was almost debilitating was in Wichita Falls at the Air Force Base. We were
Oh
doing
yeah,
this-
Shepherd.
We're
I
doing
know
this
Shepherd.
big festival. They used to have Freedom Fest every year before 9/11. And there were 50,000 people there. And I step out on this stage and I just see, for as far as I could see, it's just people. And there are bands in front of me, and there are going to be bands after me. And I step out there and we start playing, and my knees are just, I can feel them like,
Wanting to
I
knock.
can feel that people are looking at my knees because they're going like that. And I'm like, I got to move around, So I just kind of moved around the stage and would walk around and then walk over to the microphone and sing and then run over to the bass player or whatever, and just keep my legs moving so my knees wouldn't knock. And then I saw an article in the newspaper about Freedom Fest and this band, Oliver White. And, man, they really put on a good show. They're very energetic.
Right.
And I'm like,
He moved
'cause
around
I
a
was
lot.
scared to death, man.
That guy wouldn't stay still at all. He's so good.
If you have stage fright, you just try to use it, and it's energy. It's just energy.
Right on, man.
So
You're right. It's just your
just
your
energy.
adrenaling is just
Yeah.
All
about
you gotta
to
do is
pop.
So just
photosynthesize
put it back
into
in.
something useful.
Right.
I mean, and a lot of times it's also the crowd is projecting that energy.
Yeah.
And you're getting it, and you're like, I
Right.
don't know what to do with all
They
this.
want you to
shit.
be good.
Yeah.
They're cheering for you to be good, really.
They're ready for
They
it.
want it to be
All you got to
awesome.
do is do it,
Yeah, I don't know many people
All
that go
except
to a
that one
concert
guy.
or to see live music and go, man, I
This
hope
better
they
be good.
suck.
I know.
Nobody goes going, man, this better suck.
Yeah.
I hope they're awful.
Yeah, everybody
Nobody
wants
does
you
that. They want you to be good.
To rock it.
Maybe punk rock.
Yeah. I want to be madder when I leave.
Maybe awful in a different sense, baby.
Yeah. But
What,
yeah,
do you, what do you say to somebody who comes to an open mic, and you know, like when I showed up at that one, because I had to ask you to play for me, and you offered to play a couple for me that you figured out how to play, so that I could sing, right? I mean, I do a cappella all the time, but that was very kind of you to do. And Tim does the same thing. He puts
Yeah.
his master list out and says, "Here, look, I can play all of these.
Yeah.
Come tell me what you want to sing."
See, I volunteer him for
I
that.
need to
Man.
stop calling it
I just go around to people sitting
I
in the
don't know,
audience
but
and I go,
this
you want
guy-
to sing? He can play it. He can play it. He's got a list over there. Just go look.
I don't know that song, but this guy
It's so
does.
mislabeled master list because there are so many songs not on there, and there's actually quite a few on there that if you went and pointed at that, I'd be like,
Yeah, I don't think so.
I haven't played that in like 2 years.
Yeah.
So what do you say to somebody? How do you get over stage fright? Do you just step through it? I mean, what do
I
you
just
do?
step
How do you encourage people in an open mic?
Stage face.
At an open mic, I will tell people you're probably going to screw up. Just keep on trucking and don't
Right.
worry about it, because these people aren't here to see a
Every-
perfect performance. We all know what this is. This is open mic. We're all here
Great advice.
to try.
That's great.
Get better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've all seen
Progress
mistakes.
is a
We've been
beautiful
in
thing.
mistakes.
Yeah. I screw up every time I get on stage. I tell people that all the time. I screw up every time I get up there, but I try to make it look like I'm not.
You do a good job, man.
You get better. You get better at covering up the mistakes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I will certainly agree with that. I mean,
So that's what I would tell anybody that is at an open mic. It's a beautiful song. At an
Yeah,
open
yeah,
mic, and
yeah.
It's like a muscle too. You know,
Yeah.
if you have stage fright and you just go play one time somewhere and then go home for 6 months and go, well, I got that down. No,
Knock it out.
You have to go.
no,
you
no,
have to-
stage
no,
fright
no,
and
no,
work
no. You have to. Oh my gosh, you have to do it so many times.
Yeah, you have to work it.
It took How many times did it take me?
It's like wearing new shoes. You know, you got to break them in.
Yeah,
You got to wear them.
Yeah,
Before
you
you
got to
can really
do
run
it.
fast.
Amy's a great example of seeing that happen.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so he's talking about his girlfriend Amy Roberts,
Roberts. Yeah.
who last week, not last night at Coyote Club, but last week she got asked for an encore from the audience.
That's so awesome.
And her face just kind of went.
Yeah.
She's got such a cool style. I hear people try to emulate that style that she just does.
And hers is genuine.
Yeah,
I like
that's
that.
what I'm
It
saying.
really
Yeah,
is, isn't it?
Yeah, you hear people really struggle. Like now, it's kind of trendy. You know what I mean? So you hear people really want to sing like that. They can't, and they try, and then she just does it. That's awesome.
I know she's
Genuinely,
like a-
that's how she sounds.
She's
and
like
it's so cool.
Billie Holiday in a bottle
Yeah.
type of thing, you know.
I know she's a really
One
and
of
she's
her favorite artists too.
Right on.
Yeah.
she is genuinely a very nice person too.
Yeah.
It's just, and she, you know what the neat thing is? She always dresses like that.
Right. That's what I'm saying. She's
That's
genuinely
not stage
that.
clothes. That's
That's
regular
her.
clothes.
I see her at
That's
work sometimes. I'll go where she works and say, "What's up?" And she's got that flower in her hair, got the makeup on, got the dress. You know, she's just
Even
head
her
to toe.
throwback, she was a stylish person.
Yeah.
She like has her own thing going on,
All right,
man.
but back on topic, watching people grow. Before we make the
Stop
whole
talking about
episode
my
Tim
girlfriend.
But see, that's the thing. Watching people grow. She is
Progress
one of those
is a
people.
beautiful
But it is
thing,
about
man.
the people.
Right.
That's what
Melissa
open mic's
Caruth.
about.
The differences
growing.
that you get. Another aspect I'd like to go ahead and bring up, if you
Yeah.
don't mind.
No, please.
Is non-musicians. When do non-musicians and musicians ever get to jam together?
Right. Open
It's
mic.
a different experience.
Open
It's a
mic.
different
Open
experience.
mic. Yeah.
I actually have a few non-musicians who keep coming back to my open mics, and if they keep doing it, they're gonna find themselves outside of that non-musician category.
Real quick.
I saw one of them a while back that she comes to him and she watches, and I saw her go over to the list, and I don't know if she signed up because there was another name that was scratched out and I couldn't tell what it is, but I thought she signed up, and then I didn't see her name on there after that. But non-musicians are getting bold about it, you know, like
And
I
it's
think
cool.
I want to try this. you
Right.
know?
Yeah, I remember at Kickbacks one Wednesday there was I know she was a non-musician, but she came up and you played for her, and I don't remember what she asked for, but she was. I don't think I've ever seen her come back either, which is kind of sad because
Must have done a pretty bad job.
No, you did a fine job.
Was she there with a bunch of friends?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was.
Yeah. Who? I know
was
who she was.
Marisa,
but
wasn't it?
It'll take me a while to think about it. Who was it?
Is that Marisa?
Are you talking about Coyote or Kickback?
No, at Kickback.
Yeah, at Kickback.
Kickback
No,
did Joan Jett.
It was. I think I know who it
That's
was.
right. It was.
Was it
a
Maurice?
Joan Jett song.
I thought it was
But
like
it
a
was
little
so many
blonde
different-
lady.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, she was a
Okay.
blonde lady.
Yeah, Maurice's not a blonde lady.
No.
And
It was the teacher.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
She was with
They're
a
from
group of
Bonham.
friends.
Yeah, they're
Yep.
from Bonham.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
and there's see now that was really
that was
great.
a good time.
That was
man.
that's awesome.
Like,
See,
I hadn't done this in forever. Can you do this song? I was like, yeah.
that's why I think the open mic
I
night,
know.
it's not just about musicians.
Right.
You know, I go around and I'm like, do you like to sing?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah. I'm like, well, then sign up. He's got a master list over there that he could play.
I'm always available.
Hey, I
Jim-
send you folks.
You know, and I know he really doesn't like it, but he really is kind of a human jukebox.
He is.
I've accepted the term.
Yeah. Just, you might as well.
You might as
With
well.
We can
need
start
you.
calling you
genres
Napster.
As I have under my belt, I can go ahead and just accept that term because I
So-
basically am an internet jukebox if you're picking
He-
genres. If
he
you want a
really is.
specific request, you're probably not going to get what you want. But if you want to generalize, I have just about everything under the sun.
Well, with the exception
I'd figure
of
out
some
some
hip-hop.
polka if I had to. Roll out the barrel.
Now this area is there's a lot of country music in this area.
Oh, yeah.
But there's a lot of other kinds of music.
Oh, yeah.
I would classify your music as more Americana than anything
Thanks.
else. Oliver does blues music,
Real well.
primarily.
Very well.
and Tim, well, he does pretty much everything,
Yep.
right? And you know, I'm classic country and Americana and
Right.
a couple other things. So, I mean, how do you encourage other genres that don't normally pop up? Like, I know for a fact that there's a couple of hip hop bands around, and I just never. I mean, how do you reach out to complete that community circle?
I don't know because I've not
You
done
find
it.
one or two, you find one or two, get them involved, and then let them invite their friends. But it's the question of how much of that. The problem with those at open mics, and there's different philosophies on how to run the open mics and how to accommodate for those things. Like, I don't like using backing tracks because
No, I'm not a big fan either.
It's the
Either.
live music aspect.
I feel like that's karaoke.
The whole point is that it's live, and to keep people from just putting karaoke tracks on and doing whatever, because that defeats the purpose of open mic.
Yeah.
It's to jam.
I feel the same way. I will take exception though,
Like
if
with
it's
rap
something
stuff,
They've created.
they
Stuff
created
that-
themselves.
Yeah, because Don does that. Don Hayes, and you talk about different styles of music.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
And the
Bro,
best part
last
is-
night he
now, that's
sang last
original
night.
music, too, and that's
Yeah.
that's a little bit different too, is because it is original music.
Right.
Oh, yeah, and Lee's son.
Yeah.
Yeah, Austin.
Lee's son.
Austin.
Yeah, he does
Austin.
rapping too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. He does.
Yeah.
And there's
Pretty good.
Yeah, he is very good. I'm not a big fan of. I'm a little too old for rap music.
One of my things that I admire a lot about Austin is he's got that Spotify, Instagram presence, all that stuff down. He knows
Man.
how to do it tight,
a
get it
kid.
done. Yeah,
kids
it's like
know that.
second nature to him, man.
Kids know that stuff
lets
now,
them
don't
I
know
sit
how
there
to
and
do
I'm
it.
I'm scrolling on my phone, going,
Yeah.
I'm gonna play this.
I do. what all platforms is this on? It's on Spotify and it's on iTunes. Well, they don't call it that anymore. Apple Music.
Right.
You know. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're old.
Yeah.
Austin's a kid.
Mine's
He's-
on floppy disk.
Yeah.
Yes, I understand that feeling, right? I work in technology, right? That's what my day job is. But all of this is just wow. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
do you so age-wise get a pretty? I know you get a really even mix, Tim, of ages in yours.
Yeah.
He just nods.
Yeah.
His eyes got real big. He's like, yeah.
I'm thinking of.
How old is
Martin's
Emma's sister? 15, 16?
yeah, like
So all the way
14,
from that
15,
to
somewhere around
70,
there to- yeah.
75? Paul's 74, 75?
Is
Yeah.
he really?
Yeah.
So, really,
Wow.
what's that Christmas song go?
Ages 1 to 92?
Yeah,
Right on, bro.
pretty
Right
much.
on. Yeah. That's what I was thinking too. I was like, what
Kids
is the
from
line?
1 to 92.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. Yours is a good mix, man. It really is.
It is.
Yours is too. Yours is great. Paul's
I mean,
there, so
what's
he's got that high.
what's that
Yeah,
man.
man.
What's
He's
that
got that
guy
high.
plays with his daughter?
Okay.
Oh, Jim.
Her name-
Abigail.
her name
Yeah,
is
Jim and
Abigail
Abigail.
Yeah.
Giles. That
I
kid-
follow her.
Oh my
She is
gosh.
extremely talented
She
theater
really
kid, guys.
is.
Yeah.
She's really cool too.
She's got a
is.
style
She is
too
cool.
that's genuine to how she just sounds like that. Like that's how she just sings. I love that.
She's really into theater.
Yeah.
And
She is very
Talented,
much. She does
too.
a lot
Yeah.
of community theater.
Very
That's what
talented.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
just singing, but acting. And
Right on.
And
things like
she's
that. So that helps.
Well-
She's got good
Oh,
stage presence.
Yeah, that helps a lot.
that stage.
and her dad
Command.
is a musician and an artist as
And
well.
he's
so,
talented. Yeah.
So he kind of helps.
Yeah.
He helped her get.
Yeah, you have a
get there,
great
you know?
mix. Yeah, you have a
So-
great mix, man. Great mix.
The youngest I think I've ever seen on the stage would be Ashley Ewing's daughter.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
She's 6
I
or
forgot
7.
about that.
Brooke,
Yeah.
she's 6
Yeah.
now. Or
6.
7. She might be
And-
7 now.
Oh, by the way, point out this. She sang with her mama playing the guitar for the
Yes.
song, not a backing track.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, that's
I,
absolutely. I know.
I mean,
right?
I mean, come on.
And
That's loud
singing
music.
it out loud.
Right. right.
She had to. She
oh,
had
from
to
her
back away from the
toes.
microphone.
Yeah, from her toes,
Did
bro.
she really?
Oh yeah, because
Oh, wow.
the speakers would start cracking and
Yeah.
stuff.
She's a belter.
Back up. Back
Is
up.
she?
Yeah.
Good for her.
Yeah.
Ooh,
I
just
mean, you
come
gotta
out.
have those, right? And so that's the youngest, and the oldest would be Paul Noel. Hi, Paul. I know you're out there listening.
You know
or
he's watching. Let me see.
Love you, Paul.
Are you on here, Paul?
They're in internet land.
Are you on there, Paul? Let me see.
He did. He told me the other day that
know
this
he's
was
on
going
here.
to be an epic show,
Ah.
right? So y'all gotta make it epic. So one thing I'm going to note
We must
here.
embark on a quest.
Yes, we are embarking upon a quest of epicness. Sometimes, when working with musicians, their language gets a tad bit salty. So I'm going to warn you
Hell
here
yeah.
and now. See, there we go. Here and now that it might get a tad bit salty, especially when people aren't thinking. If that offends you, you may want to just turn the volume down and watch,
Or turn it up. Get
or turn
pissed.
it up and
Turn it up. Turn it
whatever.
up.
Not get pissed. Get aggravated.
get
Turn
aggravated.
it up.
See, wait, and we didn't even bleep that one.
So I self bleep.
Is there a bleep button? Oh,
I have to
Great.
turn the
You just
volume up.
launched the rocket, man.
See, we've got applause. And the rim shot.
that's what I hear after I play songs.
That's what I hear when I get up in the morning.
So,
Little hamster running on its wheel.
yeah, that sounds like it, doesn't it?
That's what I hear when I put my fingers in my ear.
Hi, Paul.
Hi,
Paul's
Paul.
watching.
So Paul told me, I said, Paul, you going to come down? And he said, no, I'm going to stay home and watch. And that way I can watch in mine. I said, don't tell me.
And his beanbag chair covered in
SpongeBob,
Cheetos.
his SpongeBob SquarePants pajamas.
No! Oh, gosh.
Are you in a beanbag chair eating Cheetos?
Hey, Paul,
Yes.
who lives in a pineapple under the sea?
Leon Locke.
You know he's singing it right now. He's going like, SpongeBob SquarePants.
Oh, my gosh. What are
All
your
right.
plans moving forward? I mean, how are you, is this something that you see, occurring for ad infinitum?
Me?
All three of y'all.
I want it to go for however long I can get it to go. I mean, I would love for other things to come up and take up my time. You know what I mean? With
Right.
music. But if it doesn't, then I'm enjoying doing this. I like open mics. I like community. I like people. I used to say I don't like people, but that's a lie. I like people. You know what I mean? It's just, you get kind of drained in society sometimes.
You do.
But
Some
then
of
you
us
go
are.
out to these open mics and they kind of
Energize.
reinstill the faith in humanity in you, because you just,
No, I don't get that. But
oh,
I do
come
get
on.
I do get energized.
Everybody's
right?
happy usually and happy to be there and looking forward because they have hope. You know what I mean? Before you go up on stage the first time, you're a rock star. In your mind,
Yeah.
whatever you envision hasn't happened yet. You know what I mean? So you've got a lot of excitement going on in your mind. So
The
it's like,
anticipation
yeah,
of something you haven't experienced.
Christmas morning.
It's like
you know what I
getting on
mean?
your first roller coaster.
Right on. It's not. See, that's how I felt. My legs would always be fine until they said, "Jonathan, you're next." Oh, then they would just turn to jello, and I'd have to go sit down up there. And now I'm like, no, stand up, man.
Sometimes I still get that, right? Because, excuse me, I think as musicians we have a perfectionist streak, right? And open mics help me to get past that sometimes. But I don't know. It's
Open mics
Do
have
you
helped me
find
get
that?
all the way through that. Anymore, I'm just like, whatever, nothing. I don't expect anything to be perfect. From the moment I start the open mic, from the moment I get to it and start setting stuff up, to the moment I go get in my van to go home, I expect there to be something screwed up.
That's how I
Low
start every day.
expectations.
But I mean, no, it's not. No, it's not necessarily a low expectation. It's just
reality.
Right.
It's the reality of our occupation.
You know.
Something's going to get screwed up. At
Murphy's
open mic.
Law.
You got a cable that's going to go, like last night. Cassandra had this cable, and she had a guitar cable and a piano cable. So one of them's bad, and we're like, which one was it?
Trying to figure it out.
Yeah, because we're working with two different cables and trying to put on a show and trying to sing a song and do all this at the same time. There's a lot of stuff that goes into one, and there's a lot that can go wrong, and just
Hell, we had power
You ever
outage.
plan on hosting
yeah. And you just kept going.
We kept going, bro.
We kept
Be
on
on
trucking,
point.
man.
Made one of the best moments, I think. I liked that. That when
Oh, when
all
the
the
power
lights
went
went
out.
out, and then we
Yeah.
had
Oh,
that couple
that
still
was a
going.
beautiful
That was
moment.
cool. I was sitting there recording in the
For
dark,
context,
and Chris got closer
Storm
with his light.
that
And
we
it was
had-
made for a cool little video.
Yeah.
So we had a storm in the area Thursday, and the power went out at Coyote Club, and so I mean everybody was totally acoustic at that point.
There's an act on stage already.
Even
Just
the
about to
audience
start their
was
set, and
acoustic.
then boom.
Yep. And it was just, and they kept going for the most part. It was
Yep.
it was actually pretty great.
Yeah,
I
but we
liked-
all came, sat in, got quiet, and
More of an intimate, yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody had to be quiet. That's what was kind of cool. We all had to kind of be
Right.
quiet.
Gotta
Even the
adapt.
people that weren't even part of the open mic over at the bar had to kind of quiet down. And it turned into kind of a pretty beautiful moment. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Just kind of a cool
You
little
adapt to whatever
candid
circumstances
Right.
you have.
Right. Right. Exactly
You
what you
adapt
were
it.
just saying. You
Yeah.
know,
You
you know
adapt
something's
it.
going to go wrong. What's it going to be
Yeah.
tonight? Last night
And
I
it
was
may not.
freaking out.
Everything might go okay.
8:02, I'm behind the microphone, and not one name is on my list. And I'm like, oh no. And there's nobody there really. I was like, oh no.
I'm going to sing by myself for 3-4 hours.
I didn't get through my first song good, and 3 names ended up on
Yeah.
the list.